Venerable Samten and I just arrived back from the Sakyadhita conference, and I thought I'd tell you a little bit about it, and I'm hoping that she will do some other BBCs about it. So one of the things that I was thinking mostly, because Sakyadhita is an international Buddhist women's organization, it began in 1987. That was the first meeting in Bodh Gaya. And it was planned by Venerable Lecce Somo. Her name's now Venerable Dhammananda, but she was Keval Singh before, and Ayakema, who has passed away. And so their idea was to get international Buddhist women to come and meet each other. And they formed the organization of Sakyadhita back in 1987. And then every 2 years, there's been a conference, mostly in Asian countries, having a different country each time. But this year, for the first time, it was in a Western country. So it was in the Blue Mountains outside of Sydney, Australia. And sitting in the opening ceremony, I was sitting next to Venerable Lecce Somo, and it really hit me that, wow, in 1987, this all began, and it began from her idea and, the other two people's idea. And then here now, all these years later, was a room with 800 Buddhist women in it, all coming together for a 5-day conference. And it was just amazing to think of that. And then, one time during the conference, somebody asked me during an interview if I thought having Sakyadhita conferences with the women come together was important. And I had never really thought about that before. So I kind of paused and thought a little bit, and then I said something about how nice it was for the woman to be able to speak without any mansplaining going on. But that wasn't really a very adequate answer. And so on the plane ride back, where I had lots of time to think, I thought a bit about it. And I also thought about what happened on the second to the last day of the conference. It was around the time of Jetsun Tenzin Palmo's birthday, and so the Vietnamese nuns had arranged like a little birthday party for. It couldn't include all 800 people. It was the Vietnamese nuns and the Tibetan nuns, and then a few other people that she was close to, and we were all crowded together in this cellar of the resort. Yeah. But it was planned by the Vietnamese nuns. And in it, what they did is they expressed their gratitude toward Jetsuna and also towards Venerable Lecce Somo, And then they told some stories. And, I had always been aware of especially what Venerable Lecce Somo has done over the years. And she's really traveled to so many countries, meeting different Buddhists, and especially Buddhist women, to see what their condition is, and especially in India, going up to the remote areas and the mountains, and through the Jamyang Foundation, really doing a lot to improve the situation of the Himalayan nuns in these remote areas. And to see the Vietnamese nuns express their gratitude to both of these women was very, very touching. Yeah. Did you feel that way? Yeah, it was something that was so heartfelt, how much they appreciated these two bhikshunis' contributions to the Dharma, and contributions that help them in their practice and in their service to society. Because I think one of the things that the conference does is it really, it gives, it's mostly women giving the presentation. I think there were 2 presentations by men. That was it. Men are invited to the conference. That's fine. But it's more seeing the activities of so many nuns worldwide, what they're doing, the ones that are meditating, the ones that are teaching, the ones that are engaged in social service, and the ones that are starting universities and starting monasteries. And, one of them from Vietnam showed a video of their Buddhist university in Vietnam, which is amazing, especially for somebody of my generation who grew up with the idea of Vietnam being a war zone, and then to see it recover in this way with this huge university, and many nuns going to it. And to just see what people are doing worldwide and how the women are really stepping up to the plate and serving not only their own communities, but serving society. And that was very, very inspiring. And also what was inspiring for me was to see the younger nuns express their gratitude to Jetsunma and Venerable Lekshe, to the senior nuns, so that the juniors were acknowledging what those two nuns had done to really improve their own situation, which has been really a lot, because it made me reflect, especially in the case of the Tibetan nuns, when I first came, to Nepal and India as a Buddhist in 1975. I had been there one time before, earlier, but as a Buddhist in 1975, the nuns had very little education. They mostly did chanting. There were about 2 nunneries in India. That was it. Now there's several nunneries in India, also in Nepal. There were some of the geshimas. There were 3 geshimas there. Now the nuns are able to get a good education, and they're really contributing. And a lot of that is due to His Holiness's emphasis on improving the education of not only the nuns, but also the lay people. And, and then seeing all the nuns' communities that had started in India, in Nepal, abroad. And it was very, very inspiring. And then, like I said, really seeing the juniors appreciate what the seniors had done. Because usually it's the nuns appreciating what the monks have done, because the monks have been our teachers. And that kind of appreciation, definitely, we revere our teachers. They're so precious to us. But here, seeing the nuns revere senior nuns was also very moving to really see that start to happen, because when you have a role model like that, that gives you much more confidence. Yeah. So it was very sweet seeing. We met some of the nuns from Spiti that are very young, and it's just it was so sweet seeing them, and how, seeing also their feeling for the senior nuns, and the encouragement that the senior nuns could give the juniors. So all of this, I think, was really very, very important, in terms of our growth and our education, and also seeing the nuns from different traditions come together. Everybody was very harmonious. There was none of this stuff of my tradition is the real Buddhism and your tradition isn't, or my tradition is better than yours. There was none of that kind of stuff. It was really everybody appreciating and respecting everybody else. Yeah? And so in looking back on that, that's what I really saw as the one of the purposes and values of having an International Buddhist Women's Conference. Yeah? So my hope is in the future, they have it in 2 years. I heard that the next time in 21, it will be in Sarawak, Malaysia. And so I hope we can continue to send 2 nuns to each of the Sakyadhita conferences, as well as, how we do our Western Buddhist monastic conferences, because I think these meetings of meeting other practitioners from other traditions is very, very important. We can learn so much from each other and really make friends in those traditions. Yeah. So I also got to know two nuns from the Kagyu tradition, and one of them I met in the airport. We had arrived at the same time, different flights, and then later, as I got to know her, I found out that she was one of the 8 original Kagyu nuns from Tilakpur who had gotten ordained as a bhikshuni in 1988. Yeah, and they were the first group of Tibetans who had actually taken bhikshuni ordination. Yeah, so it was very nice to meet her and see how we shared a lot of very common ideas about things. It was really quite nice. Okay, so that's it, and then I'll leave it to you, Venerable Samten, to tell more.